increases your GDP there? Because we don't plan. So let's start to integrate what we do. And this renewable energy, as we are planning, is a transition. We're not just yet there. The energy generation through sustainable energy, solar in this country, is less than 20%. So we have a long way to go. And when we start early to integrate it into our curriculum, what works for us? And then building partnership. Partnership with industry stakeholders are crucial. By collaborating with companies in the sustainable energy sector, we can provide students with internship, co-op programs, and reward projects that enhances their learning experience. We can invite guest lecturers that are experts in that area. Not about conference, I talk and go. No, it's about workshop. Bring them here. Let them impact on the students. Let them teach them. It's always good. Sometimes I told someone, I'm tired of being in the classroom. I want to go for sabbatical in industry. I don't want to go to class to teach. I want to see what they do in the industry. Because we actually need to marry the two. Lecturers every day, they want to go to sabbatical in another university. Let us do our sabbatical in the industry. Because with the industry experience, we'll bring to bear, and we're going to solve problems, the present problem facing the nation. Without this industry experience, the theory cannot marry. Somebody asked me, all this engineering math, you know so one day when we encounter a problem, we know what is up. So we need this lecturer. We need to cultivate this critical mindset. Yes, critical mindset.
So let me once more request that we applaud this wonderful lady, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. To give amazing justice to this topic. I'm sure you all pay rapt attention. What is unique is not just the content of the presentation, it's also the passion that she used to deliver this. As though she was talking to her students. Can we give that for her? And what we're here for is really very important. I often say this. thought it through in all the presentations. Changes. What improvements are we witnessing in our world of today? What we do so well is to celebrate the status quo, not to challenge the status quo. We can't improve, we can't go nowhere until we imbibe that culture of challenging the status quo. And that's what Kaizen is all about. Asking, this thing can be done better, differently. When you bring it to the educational environment, that's research. When you take it to the corporate environment, that's process improvement. It's always about, we can't rest on the status quo. And science and technology is the area that can enable us to catch up with the rest of the world. And so, listening to the Vice Chancellor earlier, talk about the research endowment, I actually dare say that we have a fantastic opportunity with this new Vice Chancellor. If he carries on with this, and UNIZIK projects itself better and becomes the epicenter for solving nation's problem, we can actually then speedily do things, enable us to catch up with the rest of the world. So it's on that note, I want to thank you again for that presentation. Send our regards to Professor Bart Naji, and I will also send a note to him to be careful, because soon we'll start looking for you and not him. I don't know if you intend to ask any questions, or we'll go straight to the next presentation. Are we ready with the virtual presentation from Professor Nwalo? I will hand over the microphone, so you take the proceeding from there. One more time, we recognize our Honorable Commissioner for Power, who is joining us, Honorable Chukwuemeka.
A hand of applause for the chairman. May I respectfully invite the Honorable Commissioner for Power, Honorable Chukwuemeka, Honorable Engineer Chukwuemeka, for his address. A hand of applause as he comes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you tremendously for the words you say, and now to congratulate the legal speaker and the record of Professor Batten and for the insight which actually gave into the reason why we're here.
Post the Vice Chancellor, I think I saw him when we were coming, as he was leaving. I want to thank him in his absential, at least for giving this conference all every needed importance, making it possible, making it to this particular conference. And I also want to congratulate the Dean and staff of the Faculty of Engineering, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, especially the organizing committee, I think the local organizing committee, for making this conference a very successful one. Having said this, I want to bring you greetings from the most prudent governor in Nigeria, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, the solution governor. The man who sees tomorrow, the man who plans very well. As we all know, he's a governor before becoming the governor of Anambra State. He came up with a very clear manifesto on how he will handle, how he will take Anambra State to the next level. What he called the People's Manifesto. And if any of us here has a copy, if you go there, most of what we are seeing today, the changes we are seeing around us today, they were all articulated. And of course, in the Vision 2070, which he shared before even becoming the governor, we could see a 50-year plan of how Anambra State will move to the next level. How we'll have a sustainable Anambra State. And that sustainable Anambra State is all revolving around the topic that we are discussing today. How can we meet up with the rest of the world? How can we move from theoretical, doing researches that we may not apply to walking our talks? They are all contained in our Vision 2070 report, which I would like any of us here to lay hands on. I believe it should be on the internet. Yes. So where are we heading to? Sorry, I may not have to dwell more in your topic. First, that topic is a very wonderful one, but it specifically is talking about agriculture, sustainable energy and smart agriculture. Beyond agriculture, where are we heading to as a people? And why do we need to embrace sustainability as a culture? This topic actually aligns with our focus in the Ministry of Power and Water Resources. Our focus is built around the Igbo word that says, Ise. Ise. Oria. And what is Ise in that focus? Our focus is built around the impact first. Whatever you want to do as a government, how do you measure the impact? How will that thing that you are doing impact directly on the people? How many people will benefit from what you are doing? Are you doing it just for political? Maybe because your friend is staying here, you go and do something. Or are you doing it? You have to measure how many people will benefit from that project. And the second thing in that is what you are discussing today, sustainability. How can you sustain that policy direction that you want to take, that decision that you want to take? How, beyond your existence in government, can the next person come and meet that thing that you are doing? And the last but not the least there, the E is eco-friendliness. And that addresses most of what our sister said here earlier. She spoke so much about our environment. And as we all know, Mr. Governor has 5 pillars of development, how he wants to develop Anambra. And the environment is given 1 pillar. When we talk about the principle of environment, people think around that in terms of erosion control. People think of environment in terms of the things we see. We hardly remember the pollution component. We hardly remember climate change and how we can mitigate the impact of climate change on each and every one of us. Now, today, I will talk more around this climate change component, the pollution, and how we can minimize them, and what we are doing already to ensure, because as a government, our job is to make good policies and to lead our talk so that others will see that, oh, this thing is working, and they will follow it. And before you know it, it will become an attitude of the people that this is the way to do it, not how they used to do it before. Now, my sister mentioned here the contribution of the sources of energy that we use, the traditional energy sources that we are used to the negative impacts on the environment. Prominent among those things is the impact of greenhouse gases, largely the carbon dioxide, which I think constitutes around 72 thereabout percent of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The impact of those things on the upper atmosphere, the global warming we see every day. She also spoke around the ozone layer depletion, which is largely as a result of the evolution of the chlorofluorocarbons, the CFCs, and other byproducts of what we use every day, especially our energy, that has affinity for oxygen, that break the ozone layer, that cause all this ozone layer depletion. So as a state, what have we done and where are we heading to? I want to share with you that when we came in 2022, we'll all remember that on our streets were street lights that were powered by diesel. True or false? And as a government that is green energy friendly, we first started by converting all of them to solar. Any street light you see today in Anambra State is being powered by solar, which is a green. Again, in our offices, most of the government offices that we have today, if you go there, the new government house, which will soon come on board, because of the energy requirement there, so we'll be having energy mix. We'll be having 3 sources of energy. We'll be having our solar as one of them, but that may not carry what everything we'll have there. It will serve as backup. And we'll be having a CNG plant instead of the diesel that we're used to before. Why? I think she mentioned it in her presentation. You know, the level of pollution that it has, at least has the very minimum amount of greenhouse gas being emitted from that. And of course, the grid, not forgetting that we have opportunity at the moment as a result of the 2023 Electricity Act, meaning that soon we'll take over our everything around our electricity, the distribution, the transmission, and what have you. You know, who would be responsible? The law has given us as a people the opportunity. And as a state, the energy bill, which is at the State House of Assembly to set up our market. We also have, this is part of what other states do not have at the moment, we have our policy, which will be available to the public as soon as possible, our policy on energy policy for the state. And the integrated resource planning of Anambra. These are the 3 key documents that will help us move very fast. But that is not the topic that we're here to discuss. So now, talking about how to apply all the grammars, all the studies that we're doing. Because if we keep talking green energy, renewable energy, without all of us seeing it out there, seeing it in your office, you may not believe that. But I want to share with you that green energy, especially solar, which is very prominent now, has evolved. I know we started from, for the street lights, it was not 3 in 1, 3 separate components, the battery different, the panel, the lamp were different. Now we have them integrated, and the battery system now will have the lithium technology, you know, which charges quite faster and discharges slowly, making it to be better in use, and is being used here in the state. And in your homes, We have also the lithium battery, which we use in some of the offices, especially for those that I believe most of the offices you have here can work on the solar energy, especially using the lithium battery technology. And again, when we are doing our statewide water resuscitation, as you may be aware, pipe-borne water has gradually started returning to Anambra State. If you go to Onitsha, you will see that people now fish across the state. In Awka, I think we have Ifta and Awka Main, Nnewi, Obiz, and several parts of the state. But what is important there? The important thing is that when we did our inventory, we discovered that because the design before was actually around how you can power those schemes with fossil fuel, so in most cases they will fail, because if you do a water scheme, for instance, in the village, in the village you have mainly the old people and few youths. Now they are to use diesel with the fluctuating price in the market to power the scheme. If you hand it over to them, after a while, that scheme will definitely become moribund, because the cost of operation will be quite high. So now, if you go around our schemes, what we use 3 sources of power, but the primary source of power in our water schemes is actually renewable energy source, and that is solar. If you go to Onitsha, where we have up to 50 horsepower pumps, these are large pumps, they are running on solar. What do we want to do? We really want to take the lead, so that as you are building your house, your house, instead of putting the borehole, if you want, that will now be powered by diesel, you will know that solar can do it for you. In agriculture, so the emphasis is just to tell us here that it is possible. In agriculture, agriculture is not left out. The machines we use in processing our agricultural products, is it in the rice mills, is it in dryers and all whatnot, these can all be powered by green energy. So I just want us to shift away from just the theory to also the application of those things that we have been studying theoretically. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, the Honorable Commissioner for Power and Water Resources, Engineer Julius Chukwuemeka. Thank you very much. We are going to go straight to the gentleman from Canada who has been waiting for us. MC, please introduce him, and let's quickly get it done. Quite a number of us are also itching to leave. So please, when you do have a chance to make presentation, if you can, just make it as precise as possible. I'm also talking to the gentleman from Canada. Just hit the notes and then let's make progress. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make welcome Engineer Dr. Elvin Ugonna Eziama, Assistant Professor in Algoma University, Canada. Media, please.
Please, can we also get the organizers to help us distribute this angala? It cannot be expired, because Sibugalia Oji, I can remember the Taoji. Thank you.
Media, are you ready for this presentation? Media.
Engineers are known for precision. I'm not saying it with this presentation.
So that caused the need for us to, you know, think about the idea of the technology that is very much obtainable today being AI in agriculture. So in today, precision and smart agriculture allow us to use the data to target resources precisely when needed. So in this case, it can actually help us to know when exactly we are bound to apply water, fertilizer, pesticides, only when necessary. So this will in turn help us to establish uh, saving of our resources and at the same time help us to reduce the impact of environmental issues. So to something like maybe leaching, erosion, and then some other factors. The idea of precision agriculture. So precision agriculture has to do with using of data-driven methods to optimize the input application at more granular level, and this actually help us to improve resources. And then some of the key characteristics as a result of this precision agriculture has to do with making use of GPS technology, satellite imagery, soil sensors, which help us to make some precise input applications. It can actually help us to have a solid understanding and the management of field variability, and at the same time, with the application of this precision agriculture can help to reduce waste, conserve resources, and at the same time minimize environmental impact. So this actually, I would say that it actually represents a shift towards a sustainable practice in agriculture because the resources are well optimized and then at the same time helping reduce waste that we can actually see very much obtainable in our traditional agricultural practice. Now, in our next slide, we are to discuss about smart agriculture itself. So, smart agriculture is actually built on precision techniques, which involves the Internet of Things, connectivity for real-time monitoring and automation. So, some of the key characteristics as a result of this smart agriculture has to do with IoT devices, connection with 5G network that helps us to enable remote monitoring and then have a holistic decision making. So with the help of integration of smart agriculture, farmers can actually access the real-time data on crop health, the moisture, and then the pest condition. And this can actually allow for timely and responsive interventions, which can in turn reduce the input waste. At the same time, the use of introduction of smart agriculture can actually help us to lower the cost and improve the ecological outcome, which I would say that is quite very much obtainable during the Industrial Revolution. Now, still on the smart agriculture, we have the AI-driven agriculture, whereby we holistically make use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to analyze data. With the integration of machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can do have some predictive insights, and then enable complex automation. By this I mean because the idea of AI is so vast, so where complex automation comes in, maybe AI-driven agriculture can actually help us to, enhance resilience against climatic changes and at the same time optimize sustainability. Now, let's just having had an overview about the agricultural revolution from our traditional techniques to AI-driven agriculture. Let's just delve into the role of AI in transforming agriculture. So in my overview, we see that AI is actually revolutionizing agricultural practices by integrating technologies or tools like big data, machine learning, Internet of Things to make farming much more efficient, sustainable, and at the same time very responsive. So the possible applications of this AI, you can see it being applied in crop yield and optimum planting schedule, just like I mentioned earlier, and then enhancing automated detection and control of pests and diseases. Manage our water resources, AI, and transforming our agricultural practices. In the very first place, we see that having integrating AI, we can improve the operational efficiency at the same time reduce cost. Secondly, it can actually help us to minimize resource allocation, minimize waste. And finally, we have the enhancement of sustainability and reduce environmental impact. Now, spoken a little bit about that in what moment. This does the diagram that everyone can say is right. But we just prepare the application on how we can actually integrate all the tools like the AI power sensors and satellite imagery to those in enhancing farm management. So first of all, we have the top map here. And then the next thing we know how to remember the new sensing data. And these are different bands. So they are not as part of this area. So having feeding some of these that was just derived from the plane map, we'll have to to the remote sensing data tool. And then from there, it goes into the different soil bands. And then this is where the AI to something like convolution that can actually help us to do some analysis and then make some realistic estimation of what is just, very much obtainable, and then give us an optimal output on what to be used at any point in time. So this is just what the diagram was talking about. So in this case, we can actually have things like the plant stress, maybe some plants that are lacking some nutrients. So it comes with this, within this plane map, and then finally it goes into the machine learning tools like the convolutional neural network. Though there are some other machine learning techniques that can be used anywhere, but in this representation, I'm making use of convolutional neural network. So this will actually help to do some analysis and then give us an optimal output on what to be used at any point in time, like I rightly mentioned in the previous slide, like the plant schedule, the stress of the plant, and then the climatic change and so on and so forth. Now, we have it that integration of this AI-driven techniques in our crop monitoring, according to the Precision Agriculture Report as of 2023, it really has to reduce the pesticides up to 40%. And then this really help us to establish enhanced crop health, and at the same time, boosting the yield in a timely approach. So for the want of time, let me just play a little bit of this, of the utilization of drones and then some of AI techniques in our agriculture. So this is just, I don't know, can you guys see my screen? So, okay. So, for want of time, we can still, proceed. Maybe that's something that we can actually work out at a good time. So, the essence of this, just to tell us that what we think that is more or less theoretical is being applied somewhere, and then that doesn't really cost us all that much for us to, establish drones, and at the same time having some AI-powered drones that can actually help us do some of the heavy lifting that is very much involved in agriculture today in terms of making some holistic estimation about the crop yield, the stresses in the crops, and at the same time the soil texture, and so on and so forth. So for me, I would say that this is something that we can actually at the same time establish in our locality. Maybe just like the previous speaker rightly said, in our engineering, we can have some people that can, specialize in designing of these drones, and then see how best we can apply it in agricultural practices within our capacity. Now, on that note, let's just proceed to talk about some autonomous farm equipment. So today we have autonomous machineries in agriculture that actually involve the use of self-operating machines, like such as human intervention. So some of the help us to boost productivity and at the same time reduce the labor cost. In this aspect, we can actually have some, application tools like the GPS and then machine vision in this regards. At the same time, the use of AI to optimize the fuel consumption and then the machine efficiency. So what this is trying to tell us is that, one thing I have to stress is that AI can be found in the office of endeavors as it stands today. Like I rightly had a brief description here, we can actually integrate AI in some of these our devices like the tractors for us to establish optimal output and then reduce costs, because the AI can actually help us to monitor the fuel consumption and then maintain fuel economy, and at the same time boost the output in production. Now, apart from just talking about some of these practices like the automation processes, the AI, and so on and so forth, AI can actually, doesn't really end in farming, but it also helps us to optimize our supply chain, because having had our yield, we need to establish that your supply chain for effective distribution, maybe from the point of harvesting those crops to where we are really distributing it to our clients. So with the help of AI, we can actually help us to forecast, do some, a kind of demand forecasting, inventory control, and at the same time establishing logistic planning. So in this regard, AI can actually help us to reduce transportation costs and then ensure that fresh produce actually reaches our consumer in a very fast way. So this is just all about what AI can actually help us to achieve in supply chain optimization. From supply chain 4.0, we have it, from supply chain 4.0, we have it that the AI techniques in predictive analysis and demand forecasting can actually help us to reduce 30% or up to 50%. And then we at the same time can actually enjoy the benefit. Okay, the benefit of the moment, the real-time data-driven, and then strategy to minimize waste. So some of the challenges we have here as a result of our adoption of this has to do with the initial implementation, the data privacy, because in the course of the AI, you cannot do with AI without data. So the transmission of our data might be, we need to have our data to be protected. So that's where the data privacy comes in. So what are some of the future prospects here? We have, we're going to develop low-cost AI solutions to make technology more accessible. And then the expansion of AI in our infrastructure. So in my conclusion, we have it that the future is green with AI, so to say. And then AI actually offers a lot of advantages in agricultural production. And then we see that there are a lot of promises as a result of AI for future, for our people and then the planet. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, the assistant professor. I believe we're going to get a copy of this presentation so that we can also do more justice to understanding the full. But despite doing this virtually, it was a very enriching presentation, particularly talking about the advancements in artificial intelligence. When I made mention of well, it's another way of saying we should move straight to the next program. And that is award presentation. So, Mr. Dean and Co., over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please, a hand of applause for the chairman. I will be calling the recipients of the Award of Excellence in this year's Faculty of Engineering International Conference. May I call on the chairman of this great conference, Chief Valentine Chineto Ozwibo, for the Award of Excellence as the chairman of the occasion at the Faculty of Engineering Hybrid International Conference. A hand of applause as he comes. To present this award is the former Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Engineer Professor V.E. Idigo. A hand of applause.
Sir, on behalf of the
Faculty of Engineering, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, I wish to present this award, an award of excellence, to Chief Valentine Chinedu Uzi.
May I also call on one of the award recipients in the person of Engineer Professor Bart Naji for the Award of Excellence as a guest speaker at the Faculty of Engineering Hybrid International Conference, ably represented by Engineer Dr. Ngozi Eli Chupu. To be presented this award is the former Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Engineer Professor Chukwuto C. Ihueze. A hand of applause.
Engineer Professor Bart Naji. This is an award of excellence in recognition as a guest speaker of Faculty of Engineering, Hybrid International Conference, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. Congratulations.
The next award recipient is the Honorable Commissioner for Power and Water Resources in the person of Honorable Engineer Julius Chukwuemeka. A hand of applause as he comes to be presented. This award is the former Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Engineer Professor V.E. Idigo.
I'm so privileged to hand over this award of excellence to my old brother, Honorable Engineer Julius Chukwuemeka, Honorable Commissioner for Power and Water Resources, Anambra State. Sir, congratulations.
Also call on another award recipient in the person of Mr. Nathaniel Chekwube Ezobi. To be presented this award is the former head of Department of Electronic and Computer Engineering and also the director of that is in the person of Professor ACO Azubogo. May I also inform us that Mr. Nathaniel Chukwuebuka Ezobi is an alumni of this great university. Please a hand of applause for him.
Mechanical engineering, alumni plus. So he's at home. Welcome. I consider it a privilege, actually, and an honor to present this award of excellence to an alumni of alumni. Engineer. There's a mistake, they said Mr., but it's an engineer, isn't it? Engineer Nathaniel. This award of excellence from the Faculty of Engineering. Congratulations.
Okay, may I also call on one of the award recipients, one of the guest speakers. We just finished his lecture, Engineer Dr. Elvin Ugonna Eziama, for the Award of Excellence as a guest speaker at the Faculty of Engineering Hybrid International Conference, ably represented by Engineer Professor Obele. Are you putting those hands together?
It is my honor to present this award of excellence to Engineer Dr. Elvin Ugonna Eziama in recognition as a guest speaker at the Faculty of Engineering International Conference in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, represented by my own Prof. Mrs. Obele.
May I also call on another award recipient in the person of Engineer Professor Azikiwe Peter Onwualo for the Award of Excellence as a keynote speaker as the Faculty of Engineering Hybrid International Conference, award to be received by Engineer Professor ACO Azubo. To present this award is the former head of department of electronic and computer engineering, Professor Engineer Professor Kenneth Abadu. A hand of applause, please.
Yeah. Engineer Professor Azikiwe Peter Onwualo, as ably represented by Professor ACO Azubo, in recognition of you as a keynote speaker at the Faculty of Engineering International Conference, I humbly present this award to you.
Unfortunately, network issue prevented him from making his presentation. See, so when I was battling up and down, he couldn't join. Okay.
May I also call on one of the award recipients, Engineer Dr. Oluwaseyi A. Ogumbero, that's the MD of LD, ably represented by Mrs. Blessing Osai. A hand of applause. To present this award, may I call on Engineer Professor V.I. Ugonabo to present this award. A hand of applause as he comes.
Engineer Dr. Oluwaseyi, I here present this award in recognition as the special guest during the Faculty of Engineering Hybrid International Conference, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka.
A hand of applause. May I also call on one of the award recipients, Mr. Tochukwu Orailosi. Mr. Tochukwu Orailosi, a distinguished alumni, Award of Excellence during the Faculty of Engineering Hybrid International Conference. I don't know whether his representative is here. May I also call on another award recipient in the person of Engineer Dandy Ilone. Engineer Dandy Ilone, are you here? Any representative? Okay. May I also call on one of the award recipients? Okay, just. Okay, another award recipient in the person of Mr. Tuchukwu Orailusi. The representative is already here to present this award to Mr. Tuchukwu Orailusi. To the representative, may I call on Engineer Professor Onyechi to make this presentation. A hand of applause as he comes.
On behalf of the Faculty of Engineering, I present this award to you, Tochukwu Orailusi.
A hand of applause. May I also call one of the award recipients in the person of Sir Emeka Kenneth Nsolibe. Sir Emeka Kenneth Nsolibe. Is a representative around? Also, I don't know whether the representative of Engineer Dandy Ilione is around now. Engineer Dandy Ilione, is he around? To take us further in this program, may I respectfully hand over to the chairman of this occasion. Chairman, sir.
Okay, so please, for this amazing audience we have here, can you applaud yourself? It's been so far so good. Our first chapter of today's event is done. We will break for a little time. Some lunch. I believe it shouldn't last for more than 30 minutes. And when we then come back, the presentations will follow. And I'm aware that some of our special guests may be leaving. So we'd like to, at this point, wish all of us journey mercies in Jesus' name. Thank you.
As the chairman of the occasion will be leaving, please, if there are any of the awardees that want to make a remark, please, it's time for you to make such remarks.
Yeah, the point being made by the Dean and Master of Ceremonies, we know how difficult it is to plan a program like this. Gather people, print all these materials, organize this type of event. And so we would like to encourage all our recipients, all the awardees, whatever they can do to support the university, the faculty, it's most welcome. And among all of us here, this is the only government functionary, so he wouldn't want to announce his own. I'm speaking on his behalf, but you have to make sure within you, particularly, no, this is not enough. You took time to market your principal, the governor, so go back to the governor and get some money for the faculty. And the landlord is coming himself, Nigerian Bachu, the honorable member representing Awka South 1. You will also donate some money for this faculty. So let me first of all hand over to the honorable commissioner. Thank you. My own is the honorarium they would have paid me for this. I'm donating back to the university.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we understand how difficult it is to organize this kind of event, especially at this particular point in time. So we will be making two donations. One is collaboration between the state government and the university. Any day, anytime you call on us, especially to implement all the things we are talking about, because as engineers, some students of engineering, you design a lot, but it is only when you leave the university that you may even see those things you are designing, and you will not know that that is actually that thing you were designing. So we will collaborate to ensure that not just for the lecturers, but especially the students, that they will place them well. We've made the IT placement for the students of engineering, especially those from our two universities here. We've made it a priority in our ministry and other engineering ministries in the state, so that they will actually learn what they were being taught. Again, to support the program, I think I have something has been done. No need of mentioning that, but the organizers know that something has been done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will make a transfer of 500,000 supporting.
It's expected that the chairman of the occasion with the professors are to inspect our project right now. It's expected that the chairman and the professors of the faculty are to inspect the projects from the faculty.
trendybeats.com.
Projects from the faculty. Please proceed to look at some of the projects from our students. The first session of this program is still on, is about to come to a close. May I call on the chairman of the LOC, chairman of the local organizing committee, Professor Engineer Professor C.O. Ohaneme. Please, wherever you are to proceed to the podium. Immediately after the close of the first session, we are going to be having the technical session. We are going to be having the first technical session. The first technical session is cascaded into 3. The first venue is the ASU Secretariat. Papers to be presented in the first session is paper A1, paper A2, and paper A3. The second technical session is to hold at the Needs Assessment Building Class 1. Needs Assessment Building Class 1. The chair of that technical session and the co-chair, the chair is Professor CMO Wiwu, and the co-chair is Professor S.O. Obiora. The papers to be presented at that technical session, second technical session, is paper B1, paper B2, and paper B3. The third technical session will also hold at the Needs Assessment Building Class 2.
More music on Trendy Beat.
The chair of that session, that technical session, is Professor C.C. Ihueze, and the co-chair is Professor N.E. Nwankwo. Papers to be presented, papers C1, C2, and C3. Immediately after these papers are presented, we have questions and answers, and then we also have, for the first technical session, paper A4, A5, and A6. And then for the second technical session, you also have paper B4, B6, and B5, and B6. Then for the last technical session, you have paper C4, C5, and C6. Then we have questions and answers. May I crave the indulgence of the chairman of the LOC? Please, if he's outside, you can ask him to come in quickly. The chairman of this conference and also the representative of Professor Bat Nnaji, and all the professors of the faculty are they are inspecting the projects that are locally designed and constructed in this faculty. Please, for the ASU Secretariat, the technical session, we have Professor C.C. Okezie as the chair, and the co-chair is Professor Ken Abadu. Papers to be presented, paper A1, A2, and A3. Then, for the next session, after the questions and answers, paper A4, A5, and A6. For the technical session holding at Needs Assessment Building Class 1, you have the chair as Professor CMO Mwiwu and the co-chair as Professor S.O. Obiora. Papers to be presented, paper B1, B2, and B3, questions and answers, and then we wrap up with paper B4, B5, and B6. The third session, technical session, is also at the same venue, Needs Assessment Building Class 2, to be chaired by Professor C.C. Iweze and co-chaired by Professor N.E. Wankwo. Papers to be presented, paper C1, C2, C3. So please, all the presenters are to be ready for that as we wrap up the first session. After the first 3 papers presented, there will be questions and answers, and then we move over to the last 3 papers, papers C6, C5, and C4, C5, and C6. Please, I believe that the authors of these papers should know their numbers. Authors of these publications, you would have gotten a correspondence from the technical section to know which of the groups you belong to, whether you are in the first technical session or the second technical session or the third one. May I request the presence of the chairman of the LOC, Chairman LOC, Professor C.O. Ohaneme. Please, immediately after this session, there's going to be a lunch and break, so please check your bags. You will see your meal ticket so that you can have your lunch. Please, let's come inside so that we can round up this session. Please, let's come inside. If you're outside, all participants, please, let's come in so that we can round up this session. Let's come in. Please, wherever we are, please, let's get into the hall so that we can bring to a close this first session. Thank you. May I acknowledge the presence of the former head of the Department of Civil Engineering, Professor Henry Aginam. You're welcome, sir. Please, may I request the presence of the chairman LOC. Please, if he's outside, you can ask him to come in. Chairman LOC, Engineer Professor C.O. Ohaneme, for his vote of thanks. Please, let's be seated a little while as we close this session. Please, let's come in. All participants that are outside, please just come in. Just come in, please, so that we can close this session and move into the technical sessions. May I hand over to the chairman of the LOC, Engineer Professor C.O. Haneme, for his vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. May I dwell on the existing protocol to thank all the people that have made presentations today. We have to thank the chairman of the occasion, Mr. Valentine Ozibo. He's a chief, but he humbled himself to always be referred to as Mr. And then the Vice Chancellor, we equally thank him for making out time to come to grace this conference. Then the directors from SEDI, Naseni, SEDI, NEDI, and Raw Materials Development Council, we welcome you all to this conference and thank you for all your efforts in making it to Nnamdi Azikiwe University. For our dear professors, deans of faculty, lecturers, and the students that are here today, we will not thank you enough for making our time to come. And other people whom I cannot mention their names here, let God grant them success in all your endeavors. You are welcome. Now we are about to enter the second stanza of this conference, which is technical session. The MC will now direct us on how we are going to move into the section so that swiftly we are going to achieve our goals to present whatever we have as the theme of this conference protests. I thank you very much. May God bless you all in Jesus' name.
A hand of applause for the chairman. Please, for all the presenters, note that if you are presenting paper A1, A2, A3, A4 to 6, you will be doing that here. The technical session is at the ASU Secretariat here. It will be anchored, chaired by the representative of Mrs. Ekurike, and also co-chaired by Engineer Dr. O.S. Ogwejiofo. Then for the second technical session, it will be holding at the Needs Assessment Building Class 1, to be chaired by Professor C.M.O. Mwiwu and co-chaired by Professor S.O. Obiora. Papers to be presented, paper B1 to paper B6. The third technical session will also be taking place at the Needs Assessment Building Class 2, to be chaired by Professor C.C. Ihueze and co-chaired by Professor N.E. Wankwo. Papers to be presented are paper C1 to paper C6. As we are gradually coming to a close, to this session. Immediately after the closing prayer, please, you are requested to go for your lunch. To close us in this session, may I invite the head of the Department of Civil Engineering, Engineer Dr. Odinaka Okonkwo, to close us in this session.
Let's rise for the closing prayer. In Jesus' name. Heavenly Father, we worship you, we exalt you, we glorify your name for making this conference a reality. Father, we thank you for presiding over everything we have done today. Father, as we are dispersing, we are not dispersing for your presence. We ask that you continue to lead us, to direct us, to order the remaining programs so that they will be impactful and you alone will be glorified. For in Jesus' name we pray.
Please, you can now go for your lunch in preparation of the technical sessions. Thank you.
More music on trendybeats.com.
I go dey put myself in order. Make I no go buy person daughter. No be only me be a lover. If na play, make you stop her. I beg you, make you use your upper. Before they say na only me the chopper. Go dey put myself in order. Before they do one, go for the matter. Pulo just dey holla. Say the rumor done the yakpa. Abobi the balabala. Obula chai so boroma.
She let me climb on night. She coming right on time. She dey giving me proto, lolo. What I really want